Is there anything worse than running out of special ammo in Destiny 2? You know, you've got yourself like a new favorite weapon, it takes special ammo, you're running around in all the casual content, just smashing everything. It takes special ammo, so it deals a little bit more damage. It's a lot of fun, but then you have to wait to find that yellow brick every time. Like, is there anything worse than actually having no special ammo? Because I'm trying to think. Like, I would rather get a purple ghost from an Eververse engram than have no special ammo. Or I would probably rather get 3 blue pieces of armor after a Crucible game than have no special ammo. Or I would even rather have teammates in Gambit that take the heavy ammo, even though I've got Eyes of Tomorrow. They don't invade with it, and they don't deal boss damage with the heavy. Oh, I think I'd rather no special ammo than that. G'day Guardians, it's Matt here, and today I've got a really cool shotgun build that essentially gives you infinite ammo without you ever really needing to reload, and gives you a constant overshield. It does sound like there's a lot going on with this build, but I promise you that it is very easy, and a lot of it is just passive effects in the background. A little while ago, Bungie came down from the heavens and blessed us with infinite primary ammo. I remember going into Grandmasters and I'd be using my trusty Nightwatch or my Hung Jury back in last season when scout rifles were the meta, and you'd be chasing every single white brick that you could find just so that you could take down enemies in the next room. Luckily, we don't need to do that anymore, but if you have got yourself a favorite special weapon, that is still the case. We are still chasing those yellow bricks, and I have got the build here which will take care of every bit of special ammo we need. The actual goal here is to achieve a really effortless flow in our gameplay. We just want to grab our shoddy and we want to head out and have some fun. We don't want to have to worry about ammo. We don't want to have to worry about dying. So we're going to have a little bit here that works in our favor in giving us constant special ammo, as well as giving us a constant overshield. We are, of course, going to be using no backup plans. What this does is when we have full melee ability up, a shotgun kill will activate defensive strike and consume all of the energy. Shotgun kills will also refund melee energy back, already creating a good synergy here. Now, defensive strike is one of those perks in the top tree void subclass. Ignore how it's procced in the description because we know that no backup plans will trigger it with a shotgun kill. Defensive Strike is an overshield for you and your nearby fire teams. It lasts about 20 seconds, and even though there's absolutely no information anywhere online about how effective this overshield is or how much resistance it offers, it does feel pretty on par with the defensive and resistance mods that we have in the game right now. Because no backup plan forces us to using top tree void subclass, there wasn't a whole lot of theory crafting required for this build, which was honestly kind of refreshing for once. But it is worth noting that this subclass will also give us the Titan bubble for the super. The other perks include Rallying Force, which allows melee kills to restore health, which I find we're not really doing too much of because this is primarily a shotgun build and we're just going to be shotgunning everything. But there is also Turn the Tide, which extends our defensive strike to 20 seconds from its initial 10-second duration. Now, I have been referring to this as a shotgun build, but I want to note that the success of this build really does hinge on the fact of having a comedian. Not just any role of the comedian, but one with subsistence. You can get away with running other void shotguns like the Decide or Retro Futurist. I think there's a couple more also, but if you are looking to use those alternate shotguns, I'd be looking for perks like Slide Shot or Wellspring to help offer similar synergies. Right now, the Comedian is the only shotgun in the game that can roll with subsistence, and boy, it's a game changer. Pairing it with this build actually makes me want to main shotguns in PvE because it literally refunds your bullet each time you get a kill, giving you an endless clip. If you think about it right now, a shotgun with an endless clip paired with an exotic armor piece that offers overshields for your shotgun kills has instant synergy. When the idea popped into my head, I thought the same thing. This build is going to pop off, the synergy is insane, but as soon as I went out and tested it, the first thing that happened was I ran out of ammo immediately. I started to think right away that the build was going to be a dud, and I thought I may as well just scrap everything I've got now. But that's where the mods come in, and before I jump into them, I just want to say that the amount of testing that went into this was hours upon hours, and I'm really proud of the concoction of mods here. So at this point, if you're thinking of making this build for your Titan, please consider dropping this video a like, as it helps sneak our way into that YouTube algorithm, meaning that we can help out more of our Titan brethren out there. Now, the first mod that I want to cover is Elemental Armaments, meaning after a handful of kills with our Comedian, we're making an Elemental Well. On my arms, I have Elemental Charge, meaning that we're getting 2 stacks of Charge with Light each time we collect that well. On my mark, I have Taking Charge, which gives us another way to generate Charge with Light stacks alongside our wells. On my legs, I have Supercharge, which means that we can have 4 stacks of Charge with Light now in total. With the combination of orbs and elemental wells, we're usually going to have 4 stacks up pretty often and fairly quickly as well. Now, with those 4 stacks of Charge with Light, extra reserves is going to come into play. I honestly forgot that this mod existed, but I'm glad I remembered it, and it's unreal. When we're charged with light and we kill an enemy with void damage, so it could be our Comedian, it could be our grenade, or any sort of void heavy weapon, that kill has a chance of dropping special ammo, using all of our stacks of charge with light up. The main takeaway here is that the more stacks that you have, the higher chance that the ammo is going to drop. After some time in the lab, I found that having 4 stacks of charge with light will usually give you special ammo after no more than about 2 kills. To assist with ammo economy, I had 1 shotgun ammo finder on, shotgun reserves, and a shotgun scavenger on as well. I'm also rocking double Melee Kickstart mods, which do work with no backup plans and defensive strike, meaning once we get the initial kill to proc defensive strike, we'll get an instant 30% refund on energy back, helping us keep that Overshield on cooldown. And lastly, a tried and tested way of getting special ammo, Special Finisher. Lucky for us, we can gauge how much damage that we want to deal with using a shotgun. If you're low on ammo, just take a few steps back before pulling the trigger, and this will allow you to have a nice primed target to finish, helping us fill up those reserves. Since our super is the Titan Bubble, it isn't too bad that we're going to do this on cooldown, since we're focusing on the shotgun gameplay anyway. Now, I love seeing different variations of builds, and seeing people's suggestions in the comments is always amazing, but I did want to share some of my lab notes and rationale that will hopefully save you guys a little bit of time when it comes to changing things around for yourself. When I initially started theory crafting the mods, I wanted to have Font of Might instead of Supercharged, so that I could give the Comedian a nice little damage buff. Since we're forced into the Void subclass, it seemed like a no-brainer, but then I realized that shotguns usually one-shot red bars and mages most of the time, so the extra damage didn't seem necessary. I also really wanted quick charge instead of taking charge, but I didn't like having to rapidly kill enemies to get my charge with light stacks, and I felt like I was generating more orbs with the Comedian, so taking charge helped string things together better. At the end of the day, the string of infinite ammo will fall apart if you don't replenish your 4 stacks of charge with light ASAP. You can rely on your special ammo finisher in dire times, but with a fully charged super, that's only 3 finishes before it's not at your disposal anymore. So I do want to stress that the combination of mods that I've mentioned are the most optimal in my opinion, but I'm also really happy to hear feedback too. The next bit of testing I did was the Trench Barrel perk on shotguns. It does not proc defensive strike. If it did, that would be hella busted though. Although good news, if your Comedian is like mine and it did roll with Trench Barrel, you do only need to just melee an enemy, which isn't a huge issue since we're up close and personal with the shotgun anyway. The God Roll Comedian that you'd want to chase is actually Subsistence 1 for All, giving you that free damage buff. The last thing that I want to mention is the fact that Melee Kickstart actually works. I originally landed on using heavy-handed, but it wouldn't consume a stack of charge with light or refund that 50% when proccing defensive strike. So a massive shout out to Roguey who suggested Melee Kickstart for this. Now for stats, strength, resilience, and recovery don't matter at all thanks to no backup plans feeding us an Overshield and our shotgun feeding our melee energy. So if you have some high stated armor that you want to use for this build, I'd focus on intellect so that your super regens faster to feed our special ammo finisher, or into something simple like discipline for faster grenade uptime. At the end of the day, your stat distribution won't make or break this build at all. But that's everything from me, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope that you like this build. The unique interactions between the mods and the exotic armor piece and the subsistence perk is just insanely fun to run around and just shotgun everything. I hope you guys can get a God Roll Comedian and get in on this action. It's just too much fun to pass up. But as always, take it easy, Guardians.